Hi, I'm Paterson. I've been designing logos and brand identities for over a decade now for both large and small brands. Every company needs a logo, and logo design is important. We have AI nowadays, but something that AI isn't really good at is designing a logo for your specific brand use case. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to stop designing boring logos and the mistakes to avoid when designing your logo. If you're new here, consider subscribing to learn more about logo design, graphic design, and brand identity. Okay, number one, not using vector. If you're new to the world of art and design, you probably don't know what a vector is. Vector images are created using mathematical algorithms that allow your images to scale infinitely. Take a look at this logo. When we zoom in, the image blurs, and you can start to see the individual pixels. Most images you see online are known as bitmap, which means they use pixels to give you the image. But when we zoom into the vector image, you can't see any pixels, and it looks sharp no matter how far we zoom in. For logo design, we need to use vector, because if we try and blow up the logo we're creating to a billboard, it will blur and kind of look like this. Terrible. So most designers, like myself, we use vector software to design the logo to keep the image sharp and looking good everywhere. And there are tons of software out there. There is Affinity Designer, Adobe Illustrator, and many more as vector software. And if you want to learn any more about Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer, I'll link tutorials for beginners down below. Okay, the second biggest mistake I see is an overcomplicated design. Okay, don't get too mad. If you're a designer out there, a lot of designers don't like me saying don't overcomplicate it, but hear me out. Most effective logos are typically straightforward. While not all logos need to be simple, it's usually wise to simplify them, and here's why. When the logo is simple, it's more clear and professional. A logo with too many shapes is difficult to see when scaled to small sizes. A logo is also easier to see from a distance, and it's easier to remember when it's simpler. But does this mean that all logos need to be simple? Well, a logo's simplicity often reflects the brand's identity. For instance, a retro coffee brand might benefit from a more detailed design. However, in such cases, it's crucial to maintain a balance so that the intricacy doesn't overwhelm the person viewing it. You don't want like a Mona Lisa, you want to kind of simplify that thing down. So striking the right mix of detail and simplicity ensures that the logo remains effective and memorable. Okay, mistake number 3, a bit of a strange one, but only having one composition. Logos need to have different compositions depending on where the logo is going to be seen. The most common compositions are standalone and combination marks. A standalone is where the logo type, which is just the lettering, or the icon is shown by itself. A combination mark is where the icon and the logo type are together. When we use these together, we need to have different compositions for either the icon to be on top of the logo type or to be at the left of the logo type, or in any other way that looks good and balanced. So if you have a look at most websites, you will see the combination mark. The icon will be on the left and the logo type to the right of it. And the reason why is because it really balances across the whole website. You don't want to be having a top-down combination mark because there's a bunch of dead space to the left and to the right. And there's also things like justification. When we justify type, that means we justify it to the left, it flows from left to right. If we center justify it, it flows down from the center. Depending on where the logo is seen, whether it's on a business card, on a website, whether it's on a product, will depend on how the composition works. So when designing a logo, really think about where the logo is going and how it's going to be seen on your products or your website or your business card or on social media. Okay, big mistake number 4, using trends. Now I make these trend reports every year. People like them. I quite enjoy looking at where the world of design is. But trends are good to know of, but they're not the best things to stick with. And trends aren't always bad to use, but they're certainly less timeless. Logos like Apple, Starbucks, and Canon have been designed to last for a long time. Using trends like 3D gradient logos or pixel art logos, for example, might look good for now, but can in the future become outdated and lack functionality. We want our logos to not just appear to look cool now, but it needs to stand the test of time. And that could be a tricky one to work out how, but essentially simplicity works. Adding effects, shadows, things like that to the logo doesn't always work well. We need the logo to work when it's on black and white, when it's in color, when it's on a screen, when it's printed. One thing that every graphic designer or even creative professional needs is a website. It doesn't matter if you're big or small, get yourself a website. Recently, we've been working on our brand new one, and we've moved to a platform called Framer, who is sponsoring this video. Framer allows you as a graphic designer to not know any code, but to design websites like this. It's mind-blowing what you can do inside of Framer. More so than that, you can fully customize it to be whatever you want. You don't have to learn that much, and to be honest, they have some amazing tutorials on their website. And also, if you just want to take a template, you can go and find a community template that you can get for free, or there are paid versions of the template, and you can edit it from there, giving you a bit of a head start. These beautiful websites with all these animations and interactions that you're seeing were all created without code, perfect for graphic designers like me and you who aren't web developing wizards. I've been learning how to use Framer over the past few weeks, and I'm really excited to share a video soon about our new website once it's built. And I'm also excited to share some tutorials soon that will help you in your Framer journey for designing your first website. If you want to check them out for completely free and start building your website free today with no coding or anything, please click the link down below in the description. It helps me out and it keeps these videos going live to you. Thank you, Framer, for sponsoring the video. Okay, back to the mistakes that I see. Number 5, copying other logos. This is a big no-no. It's understandable that many beginners and even some seasoned professionals might find it tempting to take inspiration or basically just steal existing logos. However, it's really important not to do this because it not only affects your brand image, by brand image I mean your reputation, but it also affects the brand image of the brand you're stealing it from. Not only that, you can find yourself in legal trouble if you do copy or even just take too much inspiration from another logo. So to make sure what you're designing is unique and distinctive without getting into any trouble, I would recommend firstly checking the World Brand Database. This is a really cool website where you can upload your logos, upload work, and it will check on a database around the world whether something's been trademarked, and you can see how unique or distinct your logo is. Or use Google reverse image search. That has saved me in the past, and in the recent past too, might I add. That story's coming soon. Okay, mistake number 6, using bad fonts. Sometimes we see some amazing icons. They look beautiful, and then they have something like Comic Sans right next to it, or Impact. Doesn't work. And choosing the right font to go alongside your icon can be difficult, especially if you don't know where to start. So here's some basic principles to keep in mind when choosing the font for your logo type. If your company is a vintage leather wallet company, for example, then I would choose a serif typeface or font. If you're a tech startup and need to look modern, savvy, techie, I would choose a sans serif font. The reason why we choose this is because serifs are generally speaking, very generally, kind of old style looks. And you can see even when I've done logos for Mask on Leather and other brands, they tend to look slightly older and more heritage based. And when I've chosen sans serif fonts, by the way, sans serif is French for without serifs, those little points at the end of the type. When you choose a sans serif, you are making it more techie, modern, things like that. But what I wouldn't do is just simply go to defont.com. Don't do that. You want to go onto websites like Google Fonts, Adobe Fonts, and find what's known as display fonts. These are fonts that are designed for large scale use. They aren't meant for long blocks of text, so they can work perfect for your logo type. Logo design is more than just making something look cool. It's about creating something that lasts, an identifying symbol, mark for a brand. So avoiding these mistakes that I've shown you today will put you ahead of 90% of beginners out there, or people who are just looking to create a logo, or even people who are just looking to find someone to design a logo. You should know that all these things are in place. I hope you enjoyed this very short video. If you did and want to stick around for more like this one, then subscribe and watch this video over here. Thanks for watching.